With Mira now part of their team, the group felt stronger and more determined than ever. They had successfully navigated the treacherous waters of the Misty Isles and now faced the next leg of their journey, collecting the 4 symbolic artifacts that would protect Eldoria from impending darkness. Their first destination was the Temple of Eldoria, located at the heart of the Crystal Plains. The temple was said to house the Crystal Amulet, a powerful artifact that could amplify magical abilities. As they approached the temple, its towering spires and intricate carvings left them in awe. The entrance to the temple was guarded by ancient stone golems, their eyes glowing with a mystical light. Lyra stepped forward, raising her hand in a gesture of peace. "We seek the Crystal Amulet to fulfill a prophecy that will save Eldoria," she declared. The golems remained motionless for a moment, then slowly moved aside, allowing the group to enter. Inside, the temple was a maze of corridors and chambers, each more elaborate than the last. At the center of the temple, they found the crystal amulet resting on a pedestal, bathed in a soft, ethereal light. As Lyra reached out to take the amulet, the ground trembled, and the temple's guardians, stone statues of ancient warriors, came to life. "Intruders! Prove your worthiness," they boomed, drawing their weapons. The group braced themselves for battle. Kai charged forward, his sword clashing with the stone guardian's blades. Drake, in his human form, used his immense strength to push back the statues, while Lyra's enchanting songs disrupted their movements. Lyra fired arrow after arrow, each one hitting its mark with precision. Despite their formidable foes, the group fought with unwavering determination. They moved as one, their teamwork and trust in each other evident in every coordinated strike. Finally, after a fierce battle, the last guardian fell, and the temple grew silent once more. Breathing heavily, Lyra approached the pedestal and carefully took the crystal amulet. It glowed warmly in her hand, and she felt a surge of magical energy course through her. "We have the first artifact," she said, her voice filled with triumph. The next destination was the Shadow Mountains, where the Flame of Eternity awaited. The flame was said to be guarded by a fearsome fire elemental, and only those with the courage to face the heat could claim it. The journey to the Shadow Mountains was arduous, but the group pressed on, their determination unwavering. As they climbed higher, the air grew hotter, and the ground beneath them glowed with a fiery intensity. Finally, they reached the entrance to a cavern where the Flame of Eternity burned brightly. Inside the cavern, they found the fire elemental, a towering figure of flames and molten rock. "Who dares to seek the Flame of Eternity?" it roared, its voice echoing through the cavern. Lyra stepped forward, her gaze steady. "We seek the flame to fulfill a prophecy that will save Eldoria. We are prepared to face your trial." The elemental's eyes narrowed, and it raised its fiery arms, summoning waves of scorching heat. The group braced themselves, using their combined abilities to withstand the intense flames. Drake, in his dragon form, used his own fire breath to counter the elemental's attacks, while Lyra's water magic provided a cooling barrier. Kai and Lyra fought with precision, their attacks coordinated and unrelenting. Despite the elemental's immense power, they stood their ground, refusing to back down. Finally, with a final, powerful strike from Drake, the elemental was defeated, and the flames subsided. Lyra approached the Flame of Eternity, feeling its warmth and power. She carefully took a piece of the flame, which transformed into a glowing ember in her hand. "We have the second artifact," she said, her voice filled with determination. The next stop was the depths of the Aurora Forest, where the Moonstone Pendant awaited. The pendant was said to be guarded by the spirits of the forest, and only those with a pure heart could claim it. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the air grew thick with magic, and the trees seemed to whisper secrets. Finally, they reached a clearing where the Moonstone Pendant lay on an ancient stone altar, bathed in moonlight. As Lyra reached out to take the pendant, the spirits of the forest appeared, their ethereal forms shimmering in the moonlight. "Prove your purity of heart," they intoned, their voices blending with the rustling leaves. Lyra closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She thought of her home, her family, and the friends who stood by her side. She thought of the sacrifices they had made and the love that bound them together. When she opened her eyes, she spoke from the heart. "We seek the Moonstone Pendant to protect Eldoria and all its inhabitants. Our hearts are pure, and our intentions are true." The spirits seemed to consider her words, then slowly faded away, leaving the pendant unguarded. Lyra took the moonstone pendant, feeling its cool, soothing energy. "We have the third artifact," she said, her voice filled with hope. Their final destination was the Misty Isles, where the Siren's Tear awaited. The tear was said to be guarded by the most powerful siren, and only those who could resist her enchantments could claim it. As they sailed towards the Misty Isles, the mist grew thicker, and the air filled with the sound of enchanting melodies. They reached a hidden cove where the Siren's Tear lay on a pedestal, glowing with an otherworldly light. As they approached, a powerful siren appeared, her voice captivating and hypnotic. "Who seeks the Siren's Tear?" she sang, her voice wrapping around them like a gentle embrace. Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira stood together, their resolve unshaken. "We seek the Tear to fulfill a prophecy that will save Eldoria," Lyra declared. The siren's song grew stronger, but Mira stepped forward, countering the enchantment with her own song. The two sirens' voices intertwined, creating a mesmerizing harmony that filled the air. With Myra's help, the group resisted the enchantment and approached the pedestal. Lyra took the Siren's Tear, feeling its powerful magic resonate with her own. "We have the fourth and final artifact," she said, her voice filled with triumph. With all four artifacts in their possession, the group knew their journey was far from over. They had proven themselves worthy and forged unbreakable bonds, but the true test lay ahead. They would need to harness the power of the artifacts to protect Eldoria from the encroaching darkness. Together, they left the Misty Isles, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. The future of Eldoria depended on their courage, strength, and unity. With the four symbolic artifacts in their possession, Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira felt a sense of accomplishment. Yet, they knew that their journey was far from over. The artifacts needed to be taken to the ancient altar in the heart of Eldoria, where their combined power could be unleashed to protect the realm from the encroaching darkness. As they traveled back through the regions they had previously visited, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Lyra's instincts were on high alert, and she frequently scanned the horizon for any signs of danger. One evening, as they set up camp in a secluded glade, Lyra approached Kai, who was sharpening his sword. "Do you feel it too?" she asked quietly. "The sense that something is amiss?" Kai nodded, his eyes scanning the darkening forest. "I do. It's like we're being followed, but I can't pinpoint who or what it is." Drake, in his human form, joined them, his expression serious. "We must remain vigilant. The closer we get to the altar, the more dangerous it becomes." Mira, who had been singing softly to herself by the campfire, looked up. "I sense a presence as well, but it's elusive, like a shadow that slips away when you try to grasp it." As the night wore on, the group took turns keeping watch. The forest was eerily quiet, the only sounds being the crackling of the fire and the occasional rustle of leaves. Just before dawn, Lyra's turn to keep watch ended, and she handed the responsibility over to Kai. Lyra settled into her bedroll, but sleep eluded her. She stared at the stars, trying to shake off the feeling of unease that clung to her. Just as she was about to drift off, a loud crash jolted her awake. She sprang to her feet, her bow in hand, ready to face whatever threat had entered their camp. Kai was already engaged in a fierce battle with a hooded figure, their swords clashing in a dance of sparks. Mira and Drake were similarly occupied, fending off several more attackers who had emerged from the shadows. "Who are they?" Lyra shouted, knocking an arrow and aiming at one of the assailants. "Traitors," Kai grunted, parrying a blow. "They've been following us, waiting for the right moment to strike." The battle was intense, but the group fought with precision and unity. Despite being outnumbered, their combined strength and skills allowed them to gain the upper hand. As the last of the attackers fell, the hooded figure facing Kai staggered back, pulling down their hood to reveal a familiar face. It was Zara, the goblin leader they had encountered in the Shadow Mountains. Her eyes burned with betrayal and anger. "You thought you could trust me, didn't you?" she spat. "But I've been working for the dark forces all along." Lyra felt a pang of hurt and anger. "Why, Zara?" "We trusted you. We thought you had changed." Zara sneered. "You were fools to trust me. The darkness offers power, and I chose the winning side." Before anyone could react, Zara threw down a smoke bomb, and the glade was filled with thick, choking smoke. When it cleared, Zara and the remaining attackers were gone. Kai cursed under his breath. We should have seen it coming. Drake placed a comforting hand on Kai's shoulder. Betrayal is a part of war. We must not let it weaken our resolve. Mira nodded, her expression determined. We need to get to the altar and complete the ritual before they can attack again. Lyra took a deep breath, steadying herself. Drake is right. We must press on. Eldoria's fate depends on us. With renewed determination, the group continued their journey. The betrayal had shaken them, but it had also strengthened their bond and resolve. They knew they had to remain united to face the challenges ahead. As they approached the ancient altar, the air grew thick with magic. The altar was a grand structure carved from crystal and stone, radiating an aura of immense power. Lyra placed the crystal amulet on the altar, followed by Kai with the Flame of Eternity, Drake with the Moonstone Pendant, and Mira with the Siren's Tear. The artifacts began to glow, their energies intertwining and creating a radiant light that enveloped the altar. Lyra stepped forward, reciting the ancient incantation that Alara had taught her. The light grew brighter, and the ground beneath them trembled. Just as the ritual reached its climax, Zara and her dark forces reappeared, their eyes filled with malevolence. "Stop them!" Zara screamed, launching an attack. Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira stood their ground, determined to protect the altar and complete the ritual. The battle that ensued was fierce, with spells, arrows, and swords clashing in a flurry of light and shadow. Despite the odds, the group fought with everything they had. Lyra's arrows flew true, Kai's sword strikes were swift and deadly, Drake unleashed his dragon fire, and Myra's songs disrupted their enemies. As the last of Zara's forces fell, the light from the altar reached a blinding intensity. With a final, powerful incantation, Lyra completed the ritual. The light exploded outward, washing over Eldoria and driving back the darkness. Zara screamed in rage as she was consumed by the light, her form disintegrating into nothingness. As the light faded, the group stood victorious, their hearts filled with relief and triumph. The ritual was complete, and Eldoria was safe. Lyra turned to her friends, her voice filled with gratitude. "We did it! Together, we saved Eldoria." Kai smiled, his eyes twinkling with pride. "And we did it as a team. Nothing can break us." Drake nodded, his expression serious but content. "The darkness is gone, but we must remain vigilant. Our journey is not over." Myra's voice was soft but resolute. "We will face whatever comes our way, together." With their bond stronger than ever, Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira looked towards the future, ready to protect Eldoria and face any new challenges that awaited them. The light from the ancient altar bathed Eldoria in a radiant glow, dispelling the darkness that had threatened to consume it. As the energy from the four symbolic artifacts intertwined and surged, Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira felt a profound sense of accomplishment. They had completed the first crucial step of the prophecy, but they knew their journey was far from over. The ground beneath the altar ceased its trembling, and the light gradually dimmed, leaving the artifacts glowing with a gentle, steady light. Lyra stepped back, her heart still pounding from the intensity of the ritual. "We did it," she said, her voice a mixture of relief and determination. "The first part of the prophecy is complete." Kai sheathed his sword, his expression serious yet satisfied. "We may have won this battle, but the war is not over. Zara's betrayal shows that there are more enemies out there, still waiting to strike." Drake, now in his human form, nodded in agreement. "We must remain vigilant. The darkness may have retreated, but it will not give up so easily." Mira approached the altar, her eyes reflecting the calm waters of her homeland. "The power of the artifacts has been unleashed, but we need to ensure that Eldoria remains protected. The forces of darkness will undoubtedly regroup and attempt to strike again." Lyra took a deep breath, her resolve hardening. "We need to unite the regions of Eldoria. Only by standing together can we truly protect our world from future threats." The group gathered the artifacts from the altar, each one now infused with a part of their combined strength and courage. As they made their way back through the regions they had traveled, they spread the word of their victory and the importance of unity. In the Crystal Plains, they were welcomed as heroes. The people celebrated their bravery and pledged to stand with them against any future threats. Kai's family, including his sister Kara, were proud of his accomplishments and promised their support. In the Shadow Mountains, they found unexpected allies among the goblins who had rejected Zara's treachery. The goblins, led by a new, honorable leader, vowed to aid in the defense of Eldoria. In the Aurora Forest, Lyra's return was met with joy and relief. King Elander and Alara praised her courage and leadership, and the elves prepared to join forces with the other regions to protect their homeland. Finally, in the Misty Isles, Myra's people welcomed her back with open arms. The Sirens, moved by her bravery and the group's unity, agreed to lend their magical abilities to the cause. As the regions of Eldoria began to come together, Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira knew that their work was not yet done. They held a council at the ancient altar, inviting leaders from all the regions to discuss their next steps. "We have achieved a great victory," Lyra said, addressing the gathered leaders. "But we must remain united and vigilant. The forces of darkness will not rest, and neither can we. Together, we can protect Eldoria and ensure a future of peace and prosperity." The leaders nodded in agreement, their faces reflecting the determination and hope that filled their hearts. They pledged their support and resources, forming an alliance that would stand against any threat. As the council adjourned, Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira stood together, looking out over the united regions of Eldoria. They had come a long way from their initial journey, facing countless dangers and overcoming immense challenges. But they knew that their bond and their commitment to their homeland would guide them through whatever lay ahead. "We've taken the first step," Lyra said, her voice filled with hope. "And we will continue to fight for Eldoria, for as long as it takes." Kai smiled, his eyes twinkling with resolve. "Together, we can face anything." Drake placed a hand on Lyra's shoulder, his expression serious but proud. "We are stronger together, and our unity is our greatest weapon." Mira nodded, her voice soft but firm. "The future is ours to shape, and we will ensure that it is bright and full of hope." With their hearts united and their spirits unbreakable, Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira looked towards the future, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. The prophecy had begun, and their journey was far from over. But they knew that as long as they stood together, they could overcome anything. And so, with the dawn of a new era on the horizon, they stepped forward, ready to protect Eldoria and fulfill the destiny that awaited them.